Hey guys, John V from PhoneArena here. You're watching our video review of the HTC One M8 for Windows. Wow, it's been a long time since we've seen a Windows Phone powered device from HTC, so it's pretty refreshing that we have one here in the flesh. It's basically everything you have with the Android version, but with Windows. On one hand, we dig the premium construction, one that's made from quality brushed aluminum, but we'd love to see something else new, especially when HTC's Windows mobile smartphones were known for their original industrial designs. Despite that, we can't complain either because the M8 by itself continues to be one attractive looking thing in the space, and that's despite knowing that the Android powered version has been out since March. Now, as we detailed, the HTC One M8 for Windows sports the same design as its Android sibling. Therefore, it features the same iconic things like its dual front-firing speakers with HTC boom sound. You have the IR blaster on the top edge, and in the rear you have the dual camera system. For now, it's only available in gunmetal gray, which is a little bit of a shame because the Android powered one is available in a palette of different colors. HTC didn't mess around with the recipe it used for the Android-powered HTC One M8's display, so the results are pretty much identical here with this 5-inch 1080p by 1920 Super LCD 3 display, which is protected by Gorilla Glass 3. Knowing that this specific panel exhibits the same level of qualities that make it dulling to look at, well, the minor differences that we find here is its slightly stronger brightness output of 514 nits and its color temperature of approximately 7100 kelvins. Most folks probably might overlook it, but this is HTC's first smartphone to run the new Windows Phone 8.1 experience out of the box, which sees several new enhancements and features to rival the same functional depth offered by rival platforms. For example, we have Microsoft's digital voice assistant service in Cortana, which is pretty good in delivering some tangible results. What's the weather like?
It's currently 75 and clear.
So with this latest offering, similarly HTC follows the same approach by throwing in a few staple features of the Sense 6.0 experience we've seen already on the Android-powered M8. In particular, they include things like the HTC Blink Feed application, which aggregates our social networking accounts. We have also the HTC camera, you have the HTC photo edit, and you also have the HTC Sense TV application, which transforms it into a universal remote. It's pretty handy. Comparatively, they provide the same functions as their Android counterparts, but in a way, we're not all too inclined to use some of them as frequently. For example, like HTC Blink Feed, that's because Windows Phone already has its own social networking aggregation tool. On top of that, we also have support for the HTC Dot View case and also the motion launch gestures, but they don't offer the same depth as their counterparts on the Android side. Overall, the added HTC apps are nice, but it's blatantly obvious that HTC didn't do a whole lot of work in making them all that unique and different. This is armed with the same hardware used by the Android-powered HTC One M8. So it's powered by a quad-core 2.3 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 processor with 2 GB of RAM. So it's not shocking that it exhibits the same snappy performance. From basic to intensive tasks, the phone's powerful enough to handle everything we throw at it. Yeah, we know it's sporting the same camera gear from before, a 4-megapixel sensor dubbed the Ultra Pixel camera, which features a dual LED flash, 1080p video recording, backside illuminated sensor, and an f2.0 aperture lens. Of course, there's also a second camera in the rear as well that's there to simply gather depth information for all the cool effects it has to offer, as well as a front-facing wide-angle 5-megapixel camera. And finally, it also packs along the same HTC Sense camera interface from before, but doesn't match the same number of effects as its Android counterpart. Quite frankly, we didn't expect anything different with the camera's quality just because it's using the same hardware as before. After snapping a few photos, it becomes pretty clear that there are no drastic differences with its quality. For what it's worth, it takes some good looking photos. Are they better than some of the other handful of flagships out there? Not really, but its quality is still nonetheless effective enough to make us happy. It's lacking in the details department, that's obvious, but its various U-focused effects sprinkle that professional look to our shots. At the same time, the camera's 1080p video recording quality doesn't differ. By the looks of it all, it's pretty much the same quality in general, which is pleasing to the eye, just as long as there's sufficient lighting around. Now by default, the phone has its focus locked when recording, which means that adjusting is done via touch focus. Turning it off, however, the camera is constantly adjusting the focus on the fly. Frankly, it's a really nice option, but it seems a bit too sensitive, which causes certain situations to become out of focus. As the earpiece is actually one of these stereo speakers, it really lends some help in the calling quality performance of the phone. Not only are voices exquisitely loud and commanding, but they're for the most part clear and noise-free, making it very easy to hear our callers in extremely noisy environments. Luckily for us, that's also the case switching to the speakerphone mode, where its dual front-firing speakers deliver a potent mixture of clarity and power. Going with the same size battery as before, a spacious 2600 mAh capacity one, it's enough to get us through a solid 1 day with no worries about it being at a critical level before bedtime. So is this phone the best Windows phone to date? Well, that's tough to say because we've seen some fantastic devices from Nokia, especially in the last year. And on the Verizon side, they have the Lumia icon, which is a pretty good formidable competitor to this. When it comes to design though, there's no questioning that this one exudes a lot of it. Right out the gate, this phone is aggressive with its price point. It's selling for $100 with a 2-year contract, which is pretty attractive considering the high-end quality to it. But at the same time, we can't forget about the Lumia icon, which you can pick up right now through Verizon for free. At the end of the day, you're gonna want to pick up the HTC One M8 for Windows if you're tired of Nokia's take on Windows Phone and you want something new to experience. So if you guys want to learn more about the HTC One M8 for Windows, you can check out our website, PhoneArena.com. It's John V. Thanks for watching.